People ask me how I started in magic, and I have a one-word answer for them, and it's Butsi. I met Butsi around 9 years ago in Barcelona, and I used to do three card tricks. I showed him my card tricks, and then he did magic for me, and it blew me away. I still remember that place, the spot where I met him in Barcelona 9 years ago. We were young and stupid. Well, I was young and stupid, and we had a
We still
crazy
are.
time. And we've kept in touch, and because of him I learned so much magic, and I was like, I want to do what he's doing, and I become a magician. But see, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's really
Good,
cool to
man.
do that,
Good to have you. How's
especially in this
Paris?
period.
Yeah, how's Paris?
Yeah.
How's things there?
I know we don't get out, so I don't know. I don't know. Some people get out in the streets. I'm not one of them, so I stay home and I do these kind of things. Talking with you, doing podcasts, working on my stuff, and
That's good.
yeah. But hopefully everyone is safe in my family, so we're good
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Well, in Dubai, yesterday was the first day. The lockdown is finished. Before we were supposed to stay home 24 hours, right? With the permit, we could
I
go out.
really.
Now we can go out without the permit.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's true.
some malls are open, some restaurants are open, but there are restrictions. You have to wear a mask. It's all restricted, and the curfew is after 10 till 6. So I feel
We
better.
still have like 20 days. We still have no
20 days.
15 days. We still have officially, but I think it's gonna last longer. It's a crazy period anyway.
So how's it affected you
Well,
personally and business-wise and artistically? Tell me.
well, business was obviously as talking. My main activity now is a keynote speaker, and I'm talking in big events for companies with a lot of people. So obviously that was directly off the table. um, Hopefully most of my clients didn't cancel forever, they just postpone it, like indefinitely. We don't know when, right? Maybe
Yeah.
in 6 months, maybe next year, but at least I haven't lost all those events. It's just that they are going to happen at the same time as other events, right? So I'm still losing money, but at the same time I try to remind myself, I don't say it's easy, but all the time I try to remind myself that it's I'm safe. I have no problem. No one in my family died. And I know it might sound a little bit corny and like, oh, I don't care about money. It's not that. It's just that really we have to think about people who are really bankrupt, who are living check to check, and their business is closed or people died in their family. It's crazy. There are 500 people dying every day in France.
Yeah.
500, man.
500.
So I'm thinking, yeah. So what? I lose a little bit of money. My business activities are frozen for a while, and we'll see. We'll see in 6 months.
Mm,
So and mental is like everyone. Even
and
if it
by the way, in
doesn't
Dubai, I
affect.
just checked. In Dubai, 7 deaths today. Every day is like seven, around seven, and 500 new cases.
No,
532 new cases. Usually it's 450. So today it's
that's okay,
500 new
man.
cases. Seven, yeah.
That's okay.
I mean,
500 dead
no,
people
no,
in
no.
France
500.
per day.
Oh,
In
yeah,
France per
yeah,
day. Per day. We are like now we're around 20,000 dead people, death. So
yeah,
so now I feel, okay, I could have been worse, but still,
yeah.
it's the overall atmosphere is kind of it's heavy, right?
Yeah. How do you think the place up there, like the government or the healthcare system, how they're doing? What do you think? You have any news?
In France, we are a country who likes to talk shit about the government.
Yeah.
We like to be. We are grumpy. French people are like that overall. But the truth is, I think the government does what he can now. It's just that he wasn't prepared. So it's not about how he manages the crisis now. It's about how he should have been prepared. But who could have known about such a pandemic, right? So they
Mm.
say, oh, Germany now they have, I don't know, a crazy number of beds, like 30,000 beds for reanimation in hospitals. And in
Oh,
France, we have only like 3,000 or something along those numbers. But whatever, it is what it is. We just we have to take our responsibilities, stay home, and be careful. That's all we can do.
That should take
Uh,
responsibility. Speaking of that, tell me, what are you doing these days? You 9 years ago, you were doing kids magic show, close-up magic.
yeah.
Yeah, you were trying to
So
impress people in Barcelona with your magic. You changed.
I wasn't trying. Okay, I wasn't
Okay,
trying.
sorry, sorry. So
No, no, no.
now you do speeches, right? Which is amazing. You do talks, you do creative workshops. Tell me, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, you said it. I work mainly for big companies,
Yeah.
because it's not really a choice at the beginning. It's just because they need it more than others, and they need someone to bring some creativity, some fresh air, different point of view, different perspective, and that's what I bring by giving my talks on how we magician create illusions, how they can
Mm,
get inspired by that mindset, and same with workshops, but it's just in smaller teams, right? So
yeah. How's the response been? Like
sorry.
learning magic. How's the response been? People learning magic, getting inside the mind of a magician, learning about the tricks.
Well,
How's the response been?
I don't have time. I don't prioritize teaching them magic. I
Yeah.
don't,
So,
teaching
so what do you
a
do
card
if not?
trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I talk about the mindset, and maybe I reveal one trick, not too much, just
Uh,
a trick that is not too strong, but that is enough for them to have this, this aha moment
yeah.
where they can understand, they can link how we think to the theory, to
Sure.
the creativity theory I'm
Uh,
telling them about, and yeah, basically explain how we magician, we think like little kids, we love to have fun, right? You
yeah.
one of them. We love to imagine stuff like, oh, what if we could fly, what if we could do this and that. I explain how we magician, we try to dig deeper. When something seems impossible, we don't say, oh no, okay, well, forget about it. No, we say, oh, really impossible, well, I'm gonna try to find a solution,
Uh,
right? That's what you did for many illusions. You say, oh, the setup is like that, it's on stage, but you want me to do something with the book or whatever. Well, you know what, I'm going to try to find a solution so it looks good, so it looks impressive in that. So when there are constraints, we always try to find solutions, and
mm,
that's really good lesson for not, maybe not a lesson, that's too strong, but a really good skill to train for people in companies, for employees,
mm,
because they have a lot of challenges, right? A lot of constraints. And yeah, also talk about agility, the fact that you need to do something, just have an idea and then it's done. No, to actually dare to do something, right?
uh. You think in the
Yeah.
company everyone wants to be creative? Do you really think? For me, some people can't be creative. Some people are just closed. They want to work like a machine, right? They just want to be there 9 to 5. They want to be told what they have to do. They're orderly and they don't want to be creative. They want their manager, their bosses to tell them what to do. They work like a robot. What do you think about it? Have you
Yeah.
seen those kind of
Yeah,
people,
no,
that kind of mentality?
all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
But
What do
it first of all, I don't think everyone, no, I do think everyone should be creative, but everyone, it's not like everyone needs to be creative to do their job. That's what I'm saying. Some people should work like, not like a robot, but they are specialized, right? So that's what they do. They don't really need to think outside the box, not in an obvious way. So I'm not going to force them to be creative. I'm not going to tell them, hey, if you were creative, you could do this and that, because maybe they're going to lose in efficiency. What I'm doing is that I try to inspire them to be more creative when they need it. So when companies say, okay, now we want to do things differently, now we have a different organization, now we want to change our ways of working, and we need people to uh, how do you say, to be on board with that
Mm,
change. Now I can come up and start to talk and start to inspire them, start to show them, oh, you can do things differently. But the a good point about what you're saying is that it's not only about their job. Maybe the person is going to do their job the same way, but because he or she knows that um, she can do things differently, even in her personal life, or communicate in a different manner, maybe save some time in the way she works, with different solution, she can apply what I'm saying to everything else but her job, you know. So it's not necessarily a disruptive innovation. That's what I'm saying. It's all the little things around.
And companies need it, right? Or you become dinosaurs. Things change so fast. It's a different world 2 years ago. Or was big companies the biggest name when I was growing up? Blockbuster or Kodak. What else comes to my mind? The big companies, they just go down if they don't change, they don't evolve. Internet came in and
Yeah.
took wiped out so many businesses. They become dinosaurs, right? So they need creativity. They need, I guess, a balance, creative people and some orderly people. What kind of, tell me, give me example. What can you share? What kind of companies have you worked with and what you have done?
Uh, I worked with Hilton hotels many times. I
Yeah.
worked with Cartier a couple of times. So they're very different worlds, by the way, which shows that
I worked for Cartier as
creativity.
well.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I remember. I remember.
Completely
You did this
different.
magic
Yeah.
piece. Yeah. What did you do?
I was in the store. First time in the history of Cartier, they kept a magician in the store. I think for 100 years, they never kept a magician in the store. That's what they told me. The magician was more this guy in the store doing magic for the VIP clients for Christmas time. I was a gift. It was beautiful. Those expensive
Nice. Always a
jewelry,
gift.
those watches, the
You're always a
fragrances.
gift, Nabil.
This was amazing. The beautiful jewelries, the art scene was so good, so inspirational. It was really, really good. What did you do for
That's
them?
cool.
What did you do?
Uh, there were two things. The first one was about selling, and I was basically coaching a team, selling team, on how they can create experiences around the selling process. So create their own stories, create little twists, little surprises, so clients who can remember the experience as a magical experience.
Mm,
So creativity for selling. And the second thing was about, this was more about change, because they had a lot of internal changes, and I started talking about change and how we can see things differently and things like that, you know, to get them on board. Because, you know, what you were saying, it's changing fast, right? And companies assume that employees are just going to follow. They're like,
mm,
we need to be agile, we need to be creative, but they not often they get them to on board by giving them it doesn't come from the employee. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the company is gonna be better, is gonna make more profit if we embrace change. But the regular employee might be asking himself, you know, well, what about me? What do I gain in that? So that's what I want to start with. You know, you sitting in front of me, what you gonna get out of that? Well, a
mm.
different perspective, a new mindset, new way of seeing things, adaptability, agility,
Uh, I
and
know.
meaning.
You know, this crazy fact I read was China is producing engineers every year, the same amount of engineers America already has. So let's say
Oh,
America has X amount of engineers. China is producing that every year. It has new engineers. That means they have new
wow.
technology coming, new software coming, and there's so much changes every 18 or 2 years. Life is going to change. It's a
Yeah.
crazy world we live in. Information is just doubling. So we need people like you, but see,
China, yeah, it's crazy. It's going
we
fast.
need
What did you
magicians
say?
like you. I said we need
Yeah, well,
magicians like you. So you were in
yeah, well, you know,
Amsterdam, right? You were in Amsterdam. How long did you stay there? 4 months, 5 months?
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the time we went to Amsterdam 3 months, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? That was a
I don't
different
remember
Bitsy.
much. I don't remember much.
Me neither. Me neither. I just remember meeting
That was
God.
a crazy. Yeah, yeah. That was a crazy moment. It was a good
Yeah, it was
experience,
amazing.
though.
Yeah, yeah. We did a road trip from Paris to Amsterdam. It was fun. Good
It was
times.
very funny with two other friends.
You lived in Amsterdam for a couple of months. Tell me, did it help you business wise? Did it help you be more creative? What did you say, or why shall I move to Amsterdam?
Well, I I work with big companies all over Europe and sometimes also in the world, in Canada and the US. So it's not really the local scene that helped me business wise, but I went there with of course, the aim to discover this new city, but also the aim of working on my mindset, because I think we all have psychological blocks. And when those blocks are identified with the location, it's harder to get rid of them, right? You went to Dubai, you live in Dubai, maybe you know about that, right? Now that you are there and you left this location, you don't leave all of your troubles behind, of course, but you still it's kind of a fresh start. You start to do things differently, things that you were maybe lazy to do in one location, and it's completely psychological. But I wanted to do that, and I think in this way it helped me in my business, because there were many things that I wasn't doing, and that I thought, okay, in Amsterdam I'll do that, and every morning in Amsterdam I'll do this, and in Amsterdam I'll try that, which is completely stupid. It's just pure inspiration and um, just going to different location. But I think it really helped me with that.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. For me, it was a bigger city, bigger dreams, man. When I came here, I
Yeah,
had so much energy. Bahrain was small. Here, there was no limit. Like, I wanted to be out there. I felt motivated to go out there, get my name out there. So, yeah, it definitely helped me.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it was the opposite for me, because Amsterdam is smaller, right? But
Yeah.
everyone, that's also a good point. Something I said when in my creative workshops is everyone needs to find their own inspiration factors. For you, it was more like a big city thing. For me, it was more like a calm thing. I needed to get out of certain things that were holding me back. And I believe it's everyone needs to be aware of that. The more you know yourself, the more you can move forward by
Uh,
navigating through those with
sure.
these factors.
So,
Yeah.
let me ask you, how do you keep yourself creative or agile or forefront of these things? The big companies hire you to preach them about creativity. How do you keep yourself
Yeah.
creative?
Well,
What works for you?
well, first of all, I'm blessed that whenever I start creating something, I feel shit. I feel bad, when I'm not doing something, a new creative project. Right now, I'm starting a podcast. I'm also having another business on the side. If things are too calm, it freaks me out. So I already worked on it with a shrink, so I know it's not a it's not a deep problem, but because it can be also, when you just jump into action all the time and you don't have time to settle, it can be tricky. But it's how I am, man. I learned to accept it. And when I raise to a particular challenge, then I need another one. So what I try to do is to constantly um, reevaluate my goals and what I want and how I live my life and things like that. So maybe once a week I'm writing stuff. Maybe every few days I'm just taking 20, 30 minutes, just sitting on the couch and thinking, okay, what am I doing right now? Do I like what I'm doing? Is that stupid? Should I do something? Am I missing something? What do I really want? When you're asking all those questions, then you just readjust. And that's what I say about agility, by the way, in companies, is always readjusting. It's, you're going and then you're going there, and then you're like, oh yeah, wait a second, where do I want to go? Oh, I want to go there. Okay, I'm going to readjust. And then you continue to draw your own path. But adaptability and agility is sometimes more about self-awareness than just being super smart. It's just looking at what you're doing, asking yourself some
Mm,
questions. So
yeah,
I think it's mainly like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember from our previous conversations, we talked about LinkedIn. That LinkedIn is working for you. I never used LinkedIn. I just signed in yesterday after a long time. I couldn't use it. I was like, what? I felt like a 50-year-old man using it. Plus, I know this girl, and she's in Ireland. She works for LinkedIn. She was telling me the usage of LinkedIn has gone up. It's really good. So, what has
Yeah.
worked for you, and why should I use LinkedIn? Tell me.
Well, that's one of the. We can link it to just what we said about readjusting, right? I was on every social media, and I was doing a lot of stuff on Instagram as well. I know you're big on Instagram, and you're doing amazing things there. And at some point, it wasn't really working for me. Not that I was doing it perfectly. I could improve better my Instagram game, but
Yeah.
I thought, I think I sit down, like I said to you, and I was like, why am I doing Instagram? My clients are not there. My clients are 100% corporate, and the main thing is LinkedIn for corporate events. So I stopped using it, and I went on to LinkedIn, and I discovered that it's where Facebook was a few years ago. Now Facebook is dying, right? No one wants to go to Facebook. It's kind of weird. Um, and LinkedIn is everyone now goes on LinkedIn. And for corporate event, you said, why should you use it? Why you shouldn't if there is nothing to do in your business with LinkedIn, right? If your business is more for individuals, then Instagram might be better. But LinkedIn is definitely the main social media medium if you do B2B business, because all companies are there and actually looking for people to work with. So a lot of people find me on LinkedIn by typing keynote speaker or
Uh,
speaker magician or stuff like that.
uh,
But I wouldn't know if you only do magic, it's it's the best,
mm,
I'm wondering if people look for a magician on LinkedIn. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they know one. It's always
mm,
better to be everywhere, but if you have to choose because of your time management, maybe it's not the best. But if you have a company working with other companies, if well, it's amazing. You have a big reach on LinkedIn. Yeah.
mm, yeah. You know, I
It's free.
remember.
You don't need to take the premium version.
Yeah. Remember, this was, I believe, 2015. We were living together in London.
Yeah.
Hamza, we lived together, and you were taking acting classes. You were doing magic, and even before that, I remember talking to you, and you were like, "Oh, I want to be a coach." I think you said, I can't remember
Yeah.
it properly. You were like, "I want to be a life coach," but at that time, you were just doing magic, close-up magic, learning acting, and then you became this keynote speaker. How long did it took, and why? And if someone out there wants to do it, what he can do?
Well, it's a good question, and obviously you know me well. So most people don't know about that, and I think I always, maybe because of my parents, because they are teachers and my whole family are teachers, and I always wanted to help others and teach what I knew. And being a coach and life coach is something I really want to do because I thought, wow, this is the ultimate thing to help people through their lives. But I started doing coaching, and actually, I had one client. I tried with one client, and then I thought to myself, it feels a little bit off. Why? Because I wasn't using my experience as a magician, as an artist. As you said, I studied acting, as I was doing magical, of course, a lot, clown as well. And I wasn't using all that to link it to the coaching I was doing. I was just doing regular life coaching, and any not anyone can do it, but I wasn't missing, um, I wasn't linking it to my experience. So being a keynote speaker is kind of doing both. I do magic to bring messages to inspire people with the things I lived myself with creativity. So it's kind of putting the two together.
Yeah.
And
You, you
and yeah,
mentioned
if
you mentioned clown. What did you do? I can't remember the clown classes, or tell me more about
yeah,
it. Where did you learn it? And you traveled for it, right? And you were teaching being a clown as well.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Have you
So it
seen
wasn't
CK
really
Louis
clown like.
drama? Louis CK's drama when this guy wants to be a clown and he moves to France. Oh, what's this guy name? Such a good
No, I
series.
haven't.
It was
Oh,
so
until
funny.
that.
I'll send you the link. It was so I can't remember the
I
name
need
now.
to see that. Yeah.
And he wrote it, Louis CK, and the guy, his dream is to become a clown, and nobody likes him in America, and he moves to France to become a clown. Tell me your clowning journey. What was it? Tell me.
No, so the way I did, so I studied acting at the beginning was for my magic. I wanted to have better stage presence and know how to move and and someone told me about this clown doing this workshop in Paris. His name was Ira Seidenstein, and he's an Australian clown who was previously a consultant for Cirque du Soleil,
Oh,
uh,
cool.
among other things. But he was teaching all over the world his clown workshops. But his way of doing it, it wasn't like, oh, you study clown and then you become this clown with a red nose necessarily. No, it was more about physicality, physical acting. So, and it was a lot about creativity as well. You know, how you use your body, then you can use it to be more creative. And I was never a professional clown. I never performed as one, but I was doing a lot of acting and physical acting, and I studied with this Seidenstein guy a couple of times. And at some point, he's like, "Okay, you basically know what I'm teaching. So if you teach what I do, you can maybe inspire people in different countries where I cannot be." And so I learned his method and I taught it in London, in Costa Rica as well.
I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
crazy story. I was going to Nicaragua and he was like, "Oh, you there? Maybe you can teach a workshop for me." I was like, "Okay." So I had to learn some Spanish words and stuff. But it was mainly about, whatever you do, if you're a dancer, if you're a magician, if you're whatever you're doing, how you use your body to express
uh,
yourself, to be more creative, to improvise a little bit. It wasn't necessarily, oh, you this red nose clown magician, whatever, you
yeah.
know.
By the way, I just googled it quickly. The series
Yeah.
called Baskets. So Baskets. It's Chip Baskets hoped to become a professional clown but fails in getting a degree from a renowned Parisian clowning school. Then he makes his way
Okay.
back to California as a radio clown. Oh, it's really good, man.
Radio clown.
Like, yeah,
I want to watch that. I'm gonna
it's
watch it.
very funny.
I love Louis C.K. man. He's so
Oh
funny.
yeah, have you seen his
He's so
new
funny.
special, the one he released on his
No, I haven't.
website? I'll send it to you. I
Oh,
downloaded it.
I seen a bit. I seen a bit.
It
Yeah,
just came
I
out a
seen it
month
just a bit.
ago.
Yeah,
It is hilarious. It's hilarious.
I love stand-up comedian, man. I think you got me into American stand-up comedians
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I used to
because when
show
we were
you.
living together in London, it was you were watching a lot of them. I didn't know them. You told me about Bill Burr. Now it's my
Yeah,
favorite
then
comedian
you got
in the world,
addicted to
man.
him. Yeah,
I watched all these specials. It's great inspiration for magicians, for whatever you on
performers.
stage.
Yeah,
Those guys are bold. I admire that.
oh, just a mic and
Bold.
words.
Yeah.
No props, no tricks. Just
No
it's amazing.
filters.
Yeah,
They're just like
storytelling. Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing. Millions and millions people want to hear it. Just a mic,
yeah.
just their words. Wow, it's amazing.
But they're super bold. There are
Yeah.
many things I wouldn't dare to say to do. I like, it's bad for my business or this. They don't
Oh
care,
yeah.
man. They
I
don't
know.
care at all. They say, I want to say that. I'm gonna say it. And that's
Uh,
what I love. We
yeah,
need that today.
yeah, being on the edge. You want to see that, right?
Yeah.
This politically
Yeah.
correct world we live in. You want to see that.
Sometimes they're way past the edge, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
but
But
that's what we need, man.
they're the jokers. They're the what do you call it, jester, right? He comes to
Yeah.
the king and he says stupid things. He's allowed. He's below contempt. There was other comedians, right?
Yeah.
They have the license to go overboard. I think.
Yeah, well, now they have problems because of this whole culture
Oh
in
yeah.
apparently it's more in the US. In France is not there, but the
Oh
woke
yeah.
culture, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they have big problems with it
Oh,
because
big problems.
whatever they say, there is a group who is offended. Whatever they make a joke about,
Uh-huh.
someone is triggered, and
Mm,
that's why I love those comedians, Bill Burr and Joe Rogan, and all those guys who are really hardcore because they don't care. They don't let themselves, stopped by
yeah.
people who are always offended for the smallest thing. I think we should laugh about many things, right? So yeah, it's hopefully this doesn't spread all over the world, this culture.
So, tell me what's next for you? What's your plan after this pandemic? Let's say it's gonna go away, hopefully soon. Let's say it goes away
Yeah.
after 6 months or a year. Things go back to normal. What will Butsi do? What are your plans?
Well, I have another company that I'm building with my with a friend.
Mm.
Uh, it will be a website, an online platform for parents to teach their kids about life skills and fun activities they can do together. And we need to shoot a lot of the content with the experts in education. So that's what we're going to do as soon as we can
Mm.
get out, as even a little bit. But I don't know when the events are gonna start again. So I don't want to project myself, because I think I projected myself too much at the beginning of this pandemic, thinking, oh yeah, in a couple of months, oh in November I'll do that, in October I'll do that,
Yeah.
and then I was always disappointed. So right now I'm thinking like this will be forever, and I just have to deal with it and find
Yeah.
something else and organize myself like that.
Yeah.
But we're working on this other business. As you know, I also created a website for my online courses, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I try to have different uh how do you say, in French we say different arrows in your pack. I don't know how to say, you know, different different ways to for my business, different
I have no idea what you're talking about, Butsi. I have no idea.
let me Google. Let
Speak
me
English
Google
to me,
this.
not French.
Let me Google. Let
Okay.
me
Different
Google
arrows
this
to
thing.
attack. All right.
I need to know how we say it. Uh, dif- uh, Plusieurs cordes à son arc. Yeah, well, it's translating me in Latin. Several strings to his bow. That can we say? That's how we say.
I don't know.
When you have several string. Oh,
Okay.
actually, it translates different. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Just I'm just saying that I want to have different ways to do my business. Okay, just online,
Mm.
in my events, and also with different another business on the side. So I want
Sure.
to diversify.
Sure. So tell me, you became a keynote speaker. How did you expand? How did you grow? What helped you? Like, was it digital marketing help you get the word out, or doing good shows? Did it take a lot of
Tried
time? You went
everything.
somewhere, some country in Africa as well, right? Somewhere close to Congo to do it.
Gabon.
So,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know how
How
to
was
say
it?
Gabon.
Yeah.
Ah,
What
it
did
was
you
good.
do there?
It was good. I worked for Olam. It's a big company in agriculture, and they are big in Africa. At the beginning, it's a company from Singapore, I think. And there is a lot of people from India working in this company. They are very implanted in Gabon. I think they're
Okay.
doing a great job there.
Uh,
And I gave a speech on agility, and I performed some magic as well. But yeah, to answer your question, man, I tried many things. I think what worked for me to expand as a keynote speaker was my SEO, because when you type keynote speaker magician, I should be one of the first one to appear, the first or second, something like that in the world. In France, I'm the first,
how did you do
and
that? How?
well, I don't know. I didn't do anything special. I just worked on every page of my website.
All
No,
right.
actually, I know what I did.
All
It's
right.
because when Google Plus was still a thing. Well, it wasn't a big thing, but it was still a
Uh,
thing. No one goes on Google Plus, right?
yeah.
Well, I posted every day with the hashtag keynote speaker magician, and I think Google liked that. And no one liked my post. I was the only one to see them, but I didn't care, man. I
But the
didn't care
most
in the whole
important
world.
person in the world, Google loved it.
Is Google.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all
Google
you can
liked
do.
it. I did everything Google was liking. Now it's Google My Business. It's called Google My Business,
Okay.
and I post on it regularly. Post this morning, but it's Sunday. But I want to post every day on Google My Business with new pictures, new things. Google love when you put attention to his things, right? It's normal. If you always put on Facebook, and I did that with every social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the time the same hashtag, keynote speaker magician. I think it worked. But But the best advertising, someone told me that, another keynote speaker, I don't know who it is, I forgot, but he said the best advertising you can do is having a good speech, having a good talk, man. Because if your talk is shit, you can have the best SEO in the world, you can have the best advertising strategies. People are not going to call you back.
Yeah.
And there was a tilting point after, after 1 year. I was always rewriting my talk, always rewriting. I was getting rid of the bits that were like, yeah, okay, and I was bringing other bits that were really better and stronger. And after 2 years of doing that, I felt the difference, that people wouldn't tell me at the end of the show. They wouldn't tell me, like, oh yeah, it was cool. No, they were saying, like, this is really good, I need to hire you in my company.
Cool.
And this was the tipping point that changed.
Yeah, yeah. I saw you doing magic. I want to do magic. I saw you doing working out every day. I was like, I want to work out every day. And then I saw you doing clowning. I was like, no, this is too much. Then I see you doing keynote speaking. So it has inspired me. The stuff I've been working on. What is the next
Yeah,
step for me? But of course, I don't think so. Creativity, the stuff that inspires me, moves me. I can share my story. I think there is something in there. So yeah, just
totally.
following your
I think
footsteps. What's next after this? You doing? You got married? I should get married. You're gonna have kids. I'm gonna have kids.
why not, man? Why not? I
Yeah,
mean,
just
we
stop. Don't do drugs. But see, I don't want to do drugs. If you start doing it, it's gonna influence me too.
No, but it's natural that we're following the same path as well. Because if you're a magician, you want to you want to play with your strength, right? But there is the beauty with the keynote speaker, and just, I mean, I'm telling you keynote speaker as if it was something like um, very special and unique, but it's just speaking in general and being on stage and talking to people. Is that what is great with that? You can always use your experience, you can always tell a story, and you have your own story, right? You have your own path, you have your own things that you're interested in, and you're not going to tell exactly the same things as me. You're a different person, you're not interested 1,000% of
I
creativity
think I
like
can
I
do
am.
better.
You
But
can, for
definitely not
sure.
yours.
For sure. Of course. But no, I'm just saying there is a spot for everyone, and it will be different. So why
Yeah,
not
definitely.
keynote speaker? Why not, man?
Yeah. Yeah. So, where can people find more about you? You've written a book. I'll post
Yeah,
that link. I have it on my
the
Kindle.
magic of
Great.
crazytivity.
Yeah, and you have links. Tell me more. Where can people find more about your work?
So I have a website, of course, which is
Mm,
bootsyspeaker.com. And with Bootsy Speaker, you'll find it. I started a podcast. So actually, I'm gonna steal this video and I'm gonna use it for my podcast.
no problem. You're welcome, man.
I'm
No
kidding, man.
problem.
No. I just started. So I just started. There's one episode just to tell you, but I
Cool.
want to do a lot starting next week.
What kind of people are
And
inviting, or and where's my
well,
invitation? Huh? I'm joking. No,
obviously, yeah.
what kind of podcast is it? What's the name? Where can we find it?
Well, I'm gonna. I want to make it simple. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna keep the same concept of Crazytivity,
Okay.
the Crazytivity podcast, and it will be part in English, part in French. Of course,
Cool.
it'll be specified, and I think the best now is to do a lot of solo episode for people who are confined, right? They
Yeah.
want to have some motivation, and
Mm,
but maybe I'll do some Zoom interviews like you're doing,
yeah.
and I'll see when the borders are opening, the door of my house is opening, then
Yeah.
maybe I'll launch an interview with people that I know. But it
Cool.
will be maybe mainly about entrepreneurship, business, and creativity. You know, how to be creative in this entrepreneurial world in your life,
Mm.
in your career.
Cool, but I think that's good, man.
Yeah,
Always good to talk to you. And
yeah, it was great.
cool, man. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And send
Good.
me one of those shirts that you have with the flowers. I want to look
Sure,
like you
I
with the
will.
flowers.
Sure, I will.
Hey, if I wear that, I won't.
Just,
It won't look good like you.
just Google plus me on this, right? One with magic. Google plus it.
No, but thank you for having me,
Thanks,
and
man.
take care, man.
Cheers, man. I love you. See you. Bye.
Yeah, ciao.